Welcome to Ulysses Unlocked, where we get to the heart of one of literature's most fascinating books.
Welcome to the Episode 7 summary of the Ulysses Unlocked podcast, where we analyze Ulysses by James Joyce one page at a time. And hey, before we jump in, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment to support us. It really helps. All right, let's get into it.
Ghoul, chewer of corpses. Wow, what a way to start, right? That is a shocking cry of pure agony from our protagonist, Stephen Dedalus. Now, you might be wondering who he's screaming at. Some kind of monster? Well, in a way, yes. But the monster, it's the ghost of his own mother. To understand this moment of sheer horror, we really have to get inside his head.
So we're about to step directly into a really powerful and, honestly, a deeply disturbing dream sequence that is just plaguing Stephen. And this isn't some fleeting thought, you know? This is a full-blown sensory nightmare that he just cannot escape from.
Just listen to these words. Joyce doesn't just tell us Stephen is haunted. He makes us feel it right down to our bones. Her wasted body, loose grave clothes, and then the smells. An odor of wax and rosewood. A faint odor of wetted ashes. This is the language of decay, of the funeral home, and it's invading the supposedly sacred space of a dream. So how does Joyce build this terror so effectively? Well, it's all about the senses. He assaults us with the odor of wax and rosewood from the coffin, and that faint odor of wetted ashes on her breath. Then we see her glazing eyes, and we hear her hoarse, loud breath rattling in horror. By piling on these incredibly specific details, Joyce makes this ghost terrifyingly real, not just for Stephen, but for us, the readers. Okay, but this is James Joyce we're talking about, so of course, this vision is way more than just a scary memory. It's actually a super dense web of references, and every single one is a clue to what's going on in Stephen's mind. So, let's start decoding them, shall we? So when Stephen thinks of his mother as folded away in the memory of nature, he's not just being poetic. He's actually referencing something called the Akashic records. It's this complex, mystical idea from Theosophy. Think of it like a cosmic hard drive that stored every single thought and event in history. This little detail shows us a young man who's desperately searching for a new framework, any framework outside of his old religion, to try and make sense of life and death. And that search for a new framework? It's all fueled by his massive conflict with the old one, Catholicism. Take this phrase, Liliata rutilantium. These are the opening words of a Latin prayer for the dying, spoken right at his mother's bedside. But here's the thing, Stephen refused to pray. So for him, these beautiful words aren't a comfort at all. They're a constant, painful reminder of his defiance and the huge weight of guilt that he's carrying around. Which brings us right back to that horrific cry. A ghoul. A creature from folklore that literally eats the dead. In his guilt-ridden horror, Stephen's mind has twisted the memory of his loving mother into this monstrous flesh-eating demon. So the key here is that this isn't just grief we're seeing. This is a deep, psychological self-punishment. And as if that wasn't enough, Joyce makes the horror even more powerful by contrasting it with this incredibly tender, happy memory. Stephen remembers his mother laughing at a silly pantomime called Turco the Terrible, enjoying a song about invisibility. Just look at the difference here, the simple joy of a song versus her glazing eyes staring out of death. It's this brutal whiplash between love and horror that really defines Stephen's grief. And just as we reach the absolute peak of this internal torment, bam, the outside world comes crashing in. The tone, the setting, everything is about to flip in an instant. And that's it. One line, shouted from the staircase by his roommate, Buck Mulligan. Kinch ahoy! It's like a bucket of ice-cold water. This one cheerful shout just shatters the nightmare and yanks both Stephen and us right back into the bright, solid reality of a Dublin morning. So, what is this new reality we've been thrown into? Well, it's a world of breakfast, a friendly banter, and a very, very practical concerns. It is a world that is completely at odds with the spiritual horror Stephen was just trapped in moments ago. Just to ground us in this new, practical world, here's a quick look at the money they're talking about. A quid is slang for a pound. A sovereign is a shiny gold 1-pound coin, and a guinea is just a slightly classier sum of 21 shillings. This isn't abstract philosophy anymore. This is the cash-in-hand reality of their lives. And you can just hear how thrilled Buck Mulligan is. Stephen is getting paid today, and Mulligan can already taste the glorious drunk they're gonna have. And his flippant, mocking reference to Ireland's ancient priests, the druidy druids, it shows you his character perfectly. He's irreverent, he's loud, and he lives entirely in the material world. And what does he sing to celebrate Stephen's payday? Not some ancient Irish ballad, that's for sure. He belts out a popular English drinking song about the coronation of King Edward VII, and he does it in a fake Cockney accent. This is the ultimate contrast to Stephen, who's practically drowning in the ghosts of Irish Catholicism and ancient Latin prayers. So after all that, where does that leave us? Well, this very brief passage actually cracks open some of the biggest questions in the entire novel. Let's talk about them. First off, why this brutal shift in tone? Why does Joyce slam the profound horror of death right up against this everyday chatter about payday and getting drunk? What is he trying to say about how we actually experience life and grief? It's a fantastic question. And what about that seemingly random detail, the song about invisibility? Is it just a sweet memory? Or could it be a clue to Stephen's ultimate artistic goal? To become an artist who is, like a god, invisible, totally detached from the painful world he has to observe. And finally, let's zoom all the way out. Is this story just about Stephen Dedalus and his issues? Or does his very personal guilt represent something much, much bigger? The universal struggle of the modern artist trying to create something new, all while being haunted by the powerful ghosts of family, faith, and country. These are the exact kinds of questions that echo through the pages of Ulysses. For more detailed analysis, listen to the Ulysses Unlocked podcast, where we analyze Ulysses by James Joyce in detail, one page at a time. Joyce never gives us easy answers, but what he does give us is this unforgettable portrait of a mind in torment. Thanks for watching.